Morning, gang. Happy Monday. So, crazy week, huh? At least crazy holiday weekend. Uh, Today, I kind of wanted to touch on what's been kind of all consuming for everybody, just seeing everything that's going on in the news. And it's just crazy what we're all seeing. Okay. But I want you to stop and think for a second. Okay. And you know, that's pretty much what I always try to do. We're always called as preppers, crazy tinfoil hat wearing wackos. And that's because, there's an element in the prepping community that is completely full blown conspiracy theorists. Okay. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Julian Assange or anything like that and some of the stuff that comes out. Some of these things actually do come true. Okay. So just putting that out there right there. But what I want you to do is think about some of this stuff logically when you read it, okay? And I had mentioned yesterday about all those stories about Bill Clinton was dead, Nancy Pelosi was dead, and seeing, I'm just going to kind of go through a couple of them that are out there right now. There was a story that Adam Schiff was arrested on Christmas and blah 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 for treason. And, the interesting part to that is this is the crap that people believe because if the feds arrested Adam Schiff for treason, and as the story goes, and he was currently being held in the LA County Jail, think about the logic of that for a second. If you've just committed treason against the United States, are they going to put you in with a bunch of drunks in the LA County Jail? No, you're going to be held in some, federal I don't want to say prison, but some sort of federal detention center. Okay, so that's crap. So let's go to the everything that happened in Nashville. All right, and we've all seen these stories that have come out. There's the video that's making the rounds all over the place with the three towers in line, and there's this little entrail that's coming in, and all of a sudden, boom. Okay, now I'm not saying the video's faked or anything like that. Could be a very legitimate video. Okay. What I'm saying is all this speculation that, oh, it was a missile that hit in. Okay. Kind of want to debunk this for a second. If you look at the video, all right, that entrail is coming in at 75, 80 degree angle, thereabouts. And then if you look at where the explosion happened there in Nashville, it's in a city with tall buildings, not high rises, okay, not 100-story skyscrapers or anything like that, but tall buildings. So if that supposed missile was coming in on an angle, to hit where it did, it would either have hit the buildings on the right side of the street before going down, because you got to drop 300 feet, or if it cleared those buildings, it would have hit the buildings on the left side of the street. It would not have hit in the middle of the street unless that thing came in like this and then did a complete 90 degrees straight down. All right. So that's the first thing that would debunk this. Now, the second part with a missile is if you've ever seen the damage, okay, that a missile does, it will put a crater in the ground, very wide, and anywhere between about 2 meters, say 7 feet, and about 15 meters, say about 35 feet deep. Now, mind you, these things are, missile flies faster than the speed of sound. Usually it's about Mach 1.2, thereabout. These things are flying. So think about the force with the explosives in it. You're going to have a crater. There's no crater to speak of, small, very, very, not very deep at all in Nashville. So, there's the second part that would debunk this theory. The third one, and this was the video that came out Saturday, and everybody was questioning, what's all this blue haze all of a sudden as soon as the explosion went off and everything was blue real quick? Okay. Propane burns blue. They don't use propane in a missile. All right. So, again, I'm not an explosives expert or anything of the sort. Okay. But I'm using logic to figure some of this stuff out. And if you kind of go through with this, all right, if you're all familiar with what Occam's razor is, If there are multiple explanations for something that has happened, the simplest one is usually the correct one. Okay. So we go into that part, so why it's probably not a missile. So then the other big conspiracy out there was that the bomber, to use it, now that they've identified him, was doing this because of AT&T had a contract to go after all the Dominion machines. Okay, now that's all over the place. That's also been totally debunked. Okay, AT&T doesn't do forensic investigations. Okay, and B, AT&T has no contract with the government to do it. Now, that is not saying that maybe this is where they were going to house the machines and have an outside firm come in and do it. That's a possibility. That I don't know. Okay, but as for the tie between AT&T and Dominion, there isn't any other than the fact that their name's on the building. Okay. Now, obviously, the bomber, if you will, is dead, but the media and the police and the FBI and ATF and everybody like that has already done all sorts of interviews with people. And the reason, as best they can come up with, is that from what they heard over and over and over again, was this guy was paranoid about 5G technology and the capabilities of spying. Okay. And that may have been his grudge. Okay. As far as I know, I haven't heard of any manifesto or any suicide note or anything like that. So I'm still looking at that. But again, Occam's razor. Simplest, most common sense answer is usually the right one. Okay. There's another one out there, and this one has got to be the most crazy thing I've seen. Somebody had taken a map, I guess, if you will, and drew a line from the explosion site to the Air National Guard where they do drone work, to some airplane crash with military personnel on it in 2007, all the way down to some place he said it was Brazil, that has, a Pentagon-shaped missing space in a forest or whatever it would be. Okay. And this was supposed to prove everything that, that there was something nefarious going on. Okay. That the government was somehow involved in all of this. And my answer was, yeah, that line went right through Georgia and it went right over Joe Smith's house. So therefore, does that mean Joe Smith is an alien and we need to look out for him too? Okay. Just because you can draw a line on a map doesn't prove anything. Okay. I mean, I can draw a line on a map from, where the trade center stood to Waco, Texas, and, find somebody was in a car accident along that line or whatever. And that doesn't mean that, there was some great government plot on it. Okay. What I'm asking you guys to do, look at this stuff logically, and please don't take anything that you see on YouTube for sure as truth. Okay. A lot of these channels are out there as clickbait. Like I said, the Adam Schiff story was just an absolute joke. I mean, it's silly, but hey, the guy, got a whole bunch of people. I mean, when I put the search up in Google, he was the #1 search in Google, the link to his video. So, guys got all sorts of views, congratulations to him. The information's bullshit, but that's beside the point. So, think about this stuff logically, find a second source, find a third source that confirms it. Okay. And I'm not talking about, some alt media that's so far out there, QAnon or something like that. It's just, wackos. Find something that's at least relatively reputable, that isn't all conspiracy theories. Okay. Guys, we try to prep for real stuff. Okay. Hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, power outages, political unrest, whatever it's going to be. Those are real things. Now, I'm not saying drop your guard down and totally ignore it, because if this was, you could possibly have copycats. Who knows? It could come in your area. So, you still got to be cognizant about it, but don't go down this rabbit hole like crazy. Okay. We all know, think about history. Oh, JFK, that was the KGB in Cuba, that not Lee Harvey Oswald. Or, Paul McCartney's still alive. Hey, we've had a body double for him for the last 60 years, singing Beatles songs. Uh, you know, 9/11 was an inside job, by either the owners of the building because to collect insurance money, or it was by the Bush Cheney administration to, be able to spend more money for the military industrial complex, or I don't know, flight Pan Am 103 over Lockerbie, or I mean, pick one. There, you could go silly following conspiracy theories. Okay, most every one of them has been debunked. Okay, you know, Elvis is not alive and Paul McCartney is. We'll kind of go on stuff like this. So, what I'm asking you guys, just think about this logically. Prep for real things that you can actually do something about. Obviously, keep your eyes open in case anything looks strange. Just saw something from Angry Prepper where, I guess a New York emergency management said, keep your eyes open, something may happen. Okay. And I mean, that's prudent. Okay. Obviously, as you have a situation like you had in Nashville, especially being in New York, like I said, you could have copycats. You want to pay attention to something. So just keep your eyes open, but don't get so conspiracy theory yourself that, it's time to go get yourself fitted for a new tinfoil hat because, like I said, the simplest answer is usually the correct one. Just something I want you to think about. I'm probably going to say something that's completely opposite of everybody else on YouTube today, but y'all know how I work. Okay. I try to deal in reality and logic, not in fantasy and craziness. So, see what we can do. Y'all have a good Monday. Fortunately, it's another short work week for everybody. So, we'll go from there. Have a good one, y'all. Pinball out.